guys, my name is Sam. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are finally going to be doing my TBR Tournament vlog, episode number 7. It is the last week of July and I am just now filming this. I have been participating in the tarot readathon all month long, and to be honest, this has drastically helped my reading because I have been reading non-stop. Granted, a lot of them have been short books because I'm trying to get as many books logged as I can for my team, but I have currently read as many books as days. So it is the 22nd and I have read 22 books this month so far. All of this to say, I have not wanted to film because I've just been reading, and to be honest, they haven't all been amazing books. So I am excited to finally be filming again and hopefully get something that I really love, especially because our significator for my team this week is to read 5-star predictions. So that's what we're going to try to fit into this challenge. I am going to be playing Mare from Mare Reads game, which is just a simple random letter generator kind of, but she does a spinner wheel and all of the hard letters are on one slice, so you have multiple options, which makes it a little bit easier and is better for me, especially because I'm participating in this readathon right now. And yeah, so I haven't explained again, but you know, most of you know by now that TBR Tournament is a series of vlogs that I do here on my channel where I play someone else's TBR game for a week, 3 books that week, and if I don't read the 3 books, then I have to add a spin to my monthly TBR game. So let's go ahead, pull up the spinner wheel and see what we'll be reading first. I'm screen recording. G, that's a hard letter. Okay, and I forgot to mention that Mare plays this where book title doesn't necessarily have to start with the letter, but any word in the book title can start with the letter. So hopefully I can find something that has a word in it that starts with the letter G. Let me go look and see what I can find. I did find something. When we first got our weekly significator challenge for our team, I went ahead and made a list of all the books that were readily available to me that I would consider 5-star predictions. So I looked through that list first, and thankfully I did have 2 options on there, and my picks were between Neon Gods by Katie Roberts, which is the first official book in the Dark Olympus series by her, and it's also a Hades and Persephone retelling. I read the prequel novella for a different significator challenge, and that's how I ended up getting into the series, but I predicted it'll be 5 stars because I absolutely loved the prequel novella, and I think I gave it a 4 or a 4.5 just because it had a couple typos and some of it was like, all right, like I can't, this is taking me out of the story, but I have high hopes for the first book. And then the second option is actually Her Greatest Adventure, which is the second in the Greatest Love series by Hannah Cohen. I read the first book last year and absolutely loved it, and this one is a little sister and brother's best friend, so it's also an age gap romance. And I think ultimately I'm gonna go for Neon Gods because I'm just in the mood for the mythology and the dark vibes. I know I don't read dark books like that, but that's just the vibe I'm feeling right now, so that's what I'm gonna go for, and I'm super excited to be able to read this. I also have the audio for this one, so hopefully that means that this will go by fast, especially because I'm doubling this as a way to get through books for my team. So I'll come back when I have an update for that one. So it is the next day and I have already finished Neon Gods. I'm sorry for not giving you guys an update, but the girls did sprints last night, which helped me tremendously because I got through almost 50% of the book yesterday, and then I just read the rest of it this morning. And to be honest, if I had did an update, it probably wouldn't have said much because I think I'm gonna land on a 3-star for this book. Not starting off great as far as 5-star predictions go, but it was just so forgettable in my opinion. Every single chapter, even with the dual perspective, was just so repetitive regarding their stance on their relationship up until the very end. So if I am recalling, I don't think I gave a great synopsis on this book, but essentially it is a Hades and Persephone retelling where Persephone is pawned kind of off by her mom to marry Zeus, and so she escapes across the river Styx to the lower city, and she meets Hades, and they kind of strike a deal with each other so that she can look tampered with, essentially, and possibly make Zeus not want her anymore, and so that Hades can get revenge on Zeus for killing his parents. They kind of form a relationship. So essentially like fake dating, but it's way smuttier and spicier than that. The kinks were kinking, but I didn't care about them, to be honest. They like didn't do anything for me, and I also wasn't drawn away from the story because of them, because I know that is an issue for a couple of people who have read this book. I just didn't really care, and I think that was really how I felt about the entire story. Like every single chapter, one of them are talking about how this could never work and she could never stay, and then every couple chapters we're popping in a little spice, and I just couldn't be bothered to give a fuck, to be honest. So I'm landing on a 3, very forgettable. I think I might continue the series, but I'm not in any rush as of now, which kind of sucks because the prequel novella really set me up to think that this was going to be amazing. But anyways, let's move on to picking our second letter for our second read and see what we will be reading next. Also, I wanted to apologize if in the intro clip to this, and if I don't know if this video is going up first, but I filmed my TBR that same day, like right after the intro clip to this video, and I had my AC on. It's hot. Don't judge. Yes, I know I'm saying it's hot and I'm wearing a full hoodie blanket, but I get cold really fast. But anyway, I had my AC on, and you can very clearly hear it in that entire video and then in the intro clip to this video. So I apologize about that, especially to headphone users, but nothing I can do about it now. I'm definitely not refilming the TBR because when you guys see that, it was absolutely insane, and I think everybody will get a kick out of it, but I'll be more cautious of the AC, which is why I turned it off prior to starting this clip. Anyways, all of that to say, let's go back into the wheel. Let me start screen recording, and also let me move over a little bit so I can pop it up on here. Ooh, I started it and then I stopped it again. Okay, it is once again started, so let's see what letter we get. Oh, why are we getting all the bad letters, in my opinion? Let me go see what I have on my list, if anything, and if not, we'll have to pick something that is a 5-star prediction but just wasn't a part of my original ideas, because I still wanted to count for my team. So let's see. I did have an option on my 5-star predictions list, and it was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. 5-star prediction being because I have so far read 2 Emily Henry books this year and gave them both 5 and 4.5 stars. So I have very high hopes for her books in general. And I don't know much about this. I do own it, so this one might take a little bit longer to get through because I have to read it physically, but I am still excited to be reading this nonetheless. So this one I am definitely going to give you guys an update for, because I'm going to be reading it much slower. So I'll come back when I have an update for that. Did I pick this book yesterday at 2 p.m. and then proceed to not read anything yesterday? Yes, I did. But it is currently the next day. It's almost 9:30 and I have read 100 pages of People We Meet on Vacation, and I thought this would be a good time to update because I have some thoughts. Also, I realized what I said in the clip yesterday about my AC, and it is currently on, so apologies, but it's hot. So, thoughts. I have read Beach Read and Book Lovers by Emily Henry this year, and both were 5 and 4.5 stars respectively. So I am feeling a little bit let down by this so far. I don't think I said anything about what it was about because I honestly didn't know, but it is looking to be a friends to lovers story between Poppy and Alex, who met in college. It's kind of like an awkward meeting, like, hey, I'm trying to make friends, and then they find out that they're actually originally from the same hometown, and they kind of don't talk for a while after that, but then they end up carpooling home together, and the rest is history. And then in this story, we're following them for, I want to say, somewhere between 8 and 10 summers, maybe even more than that, of vacations that they go on together every summer. So like we get a glimpse into their vacations, and then we're also getting current day where they haven't spoken for 2 years because something happened on one of these trips that we still don't know about yet. And the reason that I say I'm feeling let down, and I don't know if this is because I'm reading this one physically and I read the other two via audiobook, but like everything is a joke, everything is comical. She's just, honestly, Poppy as a character is just spewing shit, and I don't know how I feel about that. I have this idea of Emily Henry's writing in my head, and this is not that. And I'm also wondering if this is what everybody means by the people who love beach read don't like people we meet on vacation, and vice versa, because I don't see this being anywhere above a 3 stars currently. And I'm really sad about that because Emily Henry has so far sat really high on my list of authors for this year, especially because this is what I've read her. But that's just how I'm feeling right now. Honestly, in the beginning, I couldn't even focus. Like, I just felt like I was reading a big jumbled mess of just it's not even internal dialogue that's happening. I just felt like that's what I was reading, like somebody just fucking talking and talking and talking and talking about pure nonsense. And I don't know if that's just me, so please don't quote me on that. That's how I'm feeling so far. And also, this could also be spewing my enjoyment of it, is that I'm not a big friends to lovers girly. Not too much on me for that. But yeah, a lot of the friends to lovers stories that I have read, I have not really enjoyed. Like, they've been okay, and I know that this is a me thing because an example of this was Love Light Farms. I think I rated that book 3 stars. I really could not care less, and a lot of my friends really loved that book and that series in general. I haven't continued, so I don't really know the tropes or things like that of the other books, but I didn't like that one, and I'm pretty sure there have been plenty of other, I just can't think of them off the top of my head, plenty of other friends to lovers stories that I haven't enjoyed. Actually, another one that I can think of that I read this year was Powerless by Elsie Silver. Not to say that I didn't enjoy it, but it was a 3.5 as well compared to the other things. I don't know, I just don't care. I don't know what it is about that trope. I just don't care. I don't like the fact that you guys have a relationship already that we haven't got to see built up, and like I feel like an intruder. I feel like I'm on the outside looking in because there's a lot of background and history that I don't get to be a part of as a reader. So that's where I'm at with this story. That was a lot of rambling about shit that ain't have nothing to do with this, but that's where I'm at with this story. And like I said, I will come back when I have another update for you guys. It's the next day and I am slugging through this. I'm only 50 pages further in than when we spoke last night, and it's around the same time, and I just don't like it, and I feel like because I was so excited about it, it's making it worse for me that I don't like it. Something that I didn't mention yesterday that I really don't like about it is that the summers jump around. So yes, it's dual timeline, but I'm used to now and like the past, whatever. This one is like this summer, and then we jump to summer 8 years ago, and then we jump to summer 12 years ago, and then we jump back to summer 10 years ago. Like, this entire book just feels so disorganized because I'm never gonna remember in what order these things happen because we're jumping around so much, nor do I care. I want to know what happened 2 years ago and why they are no longer friends. Like, I just needed 2 years ago, and this, and a little bit of build up of how they got to be as close as they were, or whatever. Another thing I forgot to mention, which I started thinking about, like, that didn't make no sense, is that I said yesterday I didn't like Friends to Lovers, and one of the reasons that I didn't like it was because I felt like I didn't have backstory. Like, I'm kind of intruding in on your relationship that I didn't get any insight into how, like, you know, because especially with childhood Friends to Lovers, like, there's a whole bunch of story that we're not gonna get there. But I enjoy second chance romance, so I'm not sure how good my theory holds up. But either way, this is it's making me feel slumpy. I can't even focus. I read those 50 pages and I honestly, like I said, couldn't tell you what summer things happened, when, in which order, why, nothing. Like, I just want to know why y'all not friends. Just leave me in this summer. This is what I want to know about. I don't know if I'm going to read too much more tonight, which means that this one book is going to take me practically the whole week of the challenge, and I hopefully can get something in last minute, because this is just not panning out to be as good as I expected it to be. But that's where I'm at right now. Just wanted to give you guys that update, and I'll come back tomorrow. First of all, some commotion for your girl, because this is probably the most put together you will have ever seen me and will ever see me on my channel. Yeah, so last time I spoke to you guys was Thursday. I said I would speak to you guys the next day, and then I didn't pick up the camera on Friday, but I did read. And then yesterday was Saturday, and it was also Darielle's birthday, so I didn't pick up the camera again, but I did read before we partook in any birthday festivities. So I ended up finishing People With Me on Vacation yesterday, and I think I'm gonna land on a 3. I'm really in between a 3 and a 3.5, because my thoughts remain the same for the majority of the book. However, once we got to the nitty gritty, like the parts that I wanted to be at, what I wanted to see, it happened within the last 100 pages of the book, and that section of the book was so good. It was Emily Henry. Like, it was what I had read from her in previous books. But I can't fathom giving this like a 4, because that's what 2/3 of the book I didn't care. Like, there was too much back and forth. I've already blacked most of it out. Like, we were just literally having multiple anecdotes from 75,000 different summers, and ultimately they didn't matter. Like, they didn't matter to me because I can't remember a majority of them. I don't know in what order the things happened, because it was just a lot of jumping around. Like, bitch, you look a mess. So I want to say a 3, between a 3.5, and I really just want to say the 3, because I can't justify with myself that I'm gonna raise it a 0.5 just because the last 100 pages were as good as they were, when 2/3 of the book just didn't slap. Like, it was very lackluster compared to her other work. So I think I'm gonna stick to the 3. I'll dibble dabble back and forth depending on how I feel. I still haven't rated it on Goodreads yet, so I have time to sit with it a little bit longer. That means that because it's Sunday and I started this on Monday, today's my last day to finish a book. And last night, even though I didn't film, I went ahead and took my clip of my randomizer. I'll put it up here right now. So hopefully you guys trust me and don't think I'm cheating. Honestly, I don't know why I would cheat with this letter, because it was so fucking hard to find a book that had a word that started with this letter, but I got E. And I was searching for probably 20 to 30 minutes, and I didn't find anything last night. And then this morning, I decided to check Audible Plus to see like if I had any audiobooks on there that had this letter and I didn't have to use a credit for. And so I think I'm just going to go ahead and start Anna Huang's, I believe this is her debut series, If We Ever Meet.
If we ever something.
I'll put it up here. I don't have it, but I do have it on Audible. And I just know that it is her earlier series. I know nothing about it. Maybe it's a college romance, potentially, but we'll find out. And the reason I'm picking this one aside from the fact that it fits the prompt, and it was one of the very few that I found that fit the prompt that I cared to even fucking read. One, obviously it wasn't on my list for my significator for tarot readathon, but I have loved and enjoyed most of what I've read from Anna Huang, except for one book, so it could be slotted as a 5-star prediction. Two, it's short, it's on the shorter side. I read typically anywhere between 3 and 3.5 speed, and because it's only 8 hours, I think that I can realistically finish this today, because that's like 2.5 hours on the speed that I listen. So it's still early, and I have time. I'm going to try my hardest, especially because I don't know if I started off the video with this, but I already filmed my TBR for August, so I would have to add this fit onto next month, and I just don't want to have to remember that because I'm very forgetful. So we're going to start this book. Just wanted to pop in and give you guys a final update on this, and yeah, tell you guys what I'm reading next. So I'll come back when I know a little bit more about what this book is actually about. It is much later on in the day now, and I have a little bit of an update. Ezra just went to bed, so I plan to now rush through the rest of this book. I have roughly 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 hours, and I think I have only an hour and 30-ish minutes left in the audiobook, so I should be fine on that. But since I didn't know what the book was about, I'm coming to give an update about that. So essentially in this book, we are following Farah and Blake. They are on like a study abroad type of program with their college. So they're in Shanghai right now with a group of friends, and Farah is convinced that she's in love with one of her friend's boyfriends. And when Blake kind of enters the picture, she starts to realize that her crush for this other guy is going away. And Blake is here because he just wants to get away from his family. He just recently dropped football as a part of his life, whereas, you know, his whole family thought that this was going to be something that skyrocketed him into potentially professionally playing, and he gave it up. So his family's mad at him. They think that he made the wrong choice, so he kind of just wants to get away from all that, and he's not really looking for whatever Farah may be looking for. Not necessarily saying that she's looking for that in him, but once she starts to feel like she could feel that way about him, he's still kind of on the fence about it. And my main update for this book is this doesn't give Anna Huang like the Anna Huang that I know, which is crazy because this just happened to me with Emily Henry, and now I'm sitting here like, this doesn't feel like my bitch. Like, this is not her. So basically, I feel like a lot of the story is missing. And what I mean by that is I'm roughly 50% of the way through the book. I want to say maybe closer to like 40. And they already are grappling with internal thoughts of, I'm potentially in love with this other person. And for me, that feels a little bit insta-lovey considering what I have read so far. I don't feel like there has been enough time of them hanging out. I haven't seen much. Like, I don't feel like there was enough on-page progression for me to feel confident in the characters feeling confident in their feelings. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm not vibing with that because I'm not an insta-love girly, and like, if it is gonna be insta-love, I need to at least see something. And all I've seen is them hang out twice, and one of those times it was flirtatious, but at the end it was kind of like, I look at you as a sister. So I don't know, I'm not here for it right now. It's sitting again at a 3, maybe even a 2, depending on how the rest of this story goes, because after doing a little bit more research on it, I realized that their love story doesn't end in this book. I would have to read the second book to get like a final consolation on the whole thing. So I'm not too sure where this book is gonna take me. So we'll see how I feel about it, but just know you will be seeing tonight because I'm determined to finish this book and this vlog and this project off with a win. It is 11:01 and I have finished If We Ever Meet Again, which means I have completed this challenge successfully, finally, again. I don't know when was the last time, but whatever. And my final thoughts are that I'm giving the book 1 star. Not because I hated it, but there was nothing about it that I liked. The twist that they threw in here, by the way, I was correct about the story between them not wrapping up until the 2nd book, so I would have to read that to get my consolation, but I don't even think I want to do that because the twist that they threw in there was very obvious and predictable, and I already know where it's gonna go. Like, it's giving Wattpad. The Wattpad part of my brain has left the chat. I don't care for stories like this, and yeah, so 1 star. Ending this off with a bad book. People on vacation also almost took me out by taking so fucking long for me to read, but I did finish, I did win, and you know, I'm gonna take my wins as they come. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.